So Marla, yes, we're
No,
back.
Dave.
Where have you been lately? That's the strange thing.
Where have I been lately?
Yeah,
well,
that's crazy style. Where have you been?
David, now, because it is not just what's expected in a marriage, but because it is what we practice in a marriage.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it. Ask me again where I've been.
What do we practice? Where have you been?
I'm going to tell you where I've been. Tony, hit it!
I know I get wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts. Wow, wow, wow. When I'm with you, all I get is wild thoughts.
That's pretty good. I get that. Tony, hit me.
These girls ain't loyal.
Oh, you got... Oh, so you...
These girls ain't loyal.
Nice, Dave.
What's the rock in the system? Ain't no telling, will I from all like this? That's what they be yelling.
See, yeah.
That's
See,
nice, Dave.
you know,
Because the
I
song is
coulda-
actually These Hoes Ain't
I
Loyal.
actually could have gone the straight turn-up version, but thank you, Tony.
You know what? That's very good, Dave, that there's still a small amount of respect
No, you should thank Tony.
and fear that exists on our show.
You should
nice.
thank Tony. Well, what we're actually talking about is Marla just went on a girls' trip. That wasn't really a girls' trip. That's what she told me.
What? Let me just keep it all the way real.
She went to Jamaica for Vivica Fox's birthday bash. And, you know, she had her strippers there. She's like a madam these days.
Whoa.
She's like a pimpstress.
She had her strippers. Who's her?
What
We're talking about Vivica.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, because you said
I said
she
Marla
went on a
went to the
thing. And
birthday
then,
bash
get your
for
pronouns
Viv-
and your nouns right.
Anyway, you
I don't
guys
have any,
know what I was
don't have any
saying.
strippers.
I said
just
Marla
threw
went
dollars at some.
to Vivica Fox's birthday bash,
Tony
and
strips for me,
Vivica
that's true.
had her strippers there because you know that she has a crew these days.
So, in case you guys didn't know, Vivica Fox had the show
Absolutely.
on Lifetime TV called Black Magic, I believe. And
Yep.
I encountered these gentlemen, if you go back a few shows, in a very uncontrolled house party scenario. And it was a pleasure to actually get to know each of these gentlemen. What's up, Jay? What's up, Chris? What's
It
up,
was
Mike?
a pleasure to get to know him.
That's people, Dave. I didn't get to know their penises. I got to know their people. Them as people. Yes, it is true. They are very svelte, hard-bodied young men. But I didn't experience their hard bodies intimately. I just experienced their minds. Explicit minds.
Explicit Minds.
That's the name of the show. Thank you, Vivica.
Good one.
Thanks, Viv.
Good one.
Pow. No.
Well, thank you. Yes, no. And so Marla actually pulled the usual
Marla didn't pull anything.
get out of trouble explanation. So
zippy.
she goes to a birthday party where the Explicit Mind guys were actually part of the party, and she comes back. She says, "Oh, I hated it. I was abused.
I didn't say I
don't
was
ever wanna do this."
abused. I
Next
said
thing
that I
you know-
was snapped up against my will. That
Next
was
thing
true.
you know, she's going to the Caribbean with the Explicit Mind guys. So
Because it was time for me to get to know their minds, Dave.
Anyway, so I had a man vacation at home. Usually I tell all my friends, learn how to play golf because golf is like a 4-hour miniature vacation from the wife,
Wait.
family.
You know what's whack about what you're saying right now?
What?
I'm finding all kind of things in this monologue in our host chat to keep you in the doghouse because you asked me to play golf with you. Now you're saying you learned to play without me.
And you said no,
Shame.
and thank you
Shame
for actually, because I always get
You
in
want me,
trouble.
Dave. You
Every
want
time
me.
we do a man cave, I'm getting in trouble because Marla is actually calling in or doing
my
something or
damn
saying
show.
something, and the guys are like, "Man, you can't bring Marla into the man cave."
I have a prosthetic just for these occasions.
No, see.
Not tonight, Tony. I'm all here as Marla of the Marla and Dave show.
So, I tell the guys, when the wife's away, the guys can play. When you go play a round of golf,
Sandra.
you're by yourselves.
Hey,
Hang
Jackie.
out and do your thing.
Hey, girls. I'm just
Cave
saying,
it up.
hey.
Man, cave it up.
Hey, Kyle. I'm saying, hey, what's up, Lauren?
Who are
Lorene?
you talking to?
Everyone who's joining us in our cyber world. Dave, what is wrong with you? You can't, it's not, your whole world shouldn't just be about me. Engage the other people.
Anyway, so I am. We're about to actually take a week off and head down to Hawaii.
2 weeks. Well, a week for you, 2 weeks for me.
A week off.
Right.
Yeah, for me. A week vacation.
Take 6 is actually starting their tour again, and your first stop is the Blue Note in Oahu, from the 22nd of August through the 28th of August. And while you, sir, at night will be playing, I will be drinking Mai Tais and doing luau's. Woo!
Could you turn her mic down, please,
Turn
Tony?
up. Tony, don't you touch that. Let me also give a quick shout out to my mom. My mom came through this weekend, and my mom had a birthday August
Mimi.
5th. You know what? I have grown to develop such a. I'm more than just. I'm appreciative of the relationship with my mom. My mom and I get along on levels I didn't think were possible when I was younger. How about that? So I just have to say, as some of my posts say, just keep living. I enjoy my mother's company, and I'm super glad to say that my mother will be joining me in Hawaii. So while Dave is earning us money, we'll be spending it. So wait! My ties!
Wow. Anyway, so a few crazy things happened this weekend. We were literally at dinner for Mimi's birthday, and Marla does the unthinkable and strikes up a political conversation in the middle of the restaurant.
The man struck up the conversation with me.
The man.
His wife walked away, and he wanted to tell. He says, "Oh, that's just lots of yoga." I'm like, "Okay, we didn't ask you, but if you want to explain why your wife weighs 3 pounds, feel free." And he did. He's like, "She's 88 pounds." I'm like, first of all, who discloses that off the cuff in the woods at a restaurant in the woods? Shout out to Saddle Ranch. Oh wait, speaking of restaurants, I have to just pause right here because we'll get into more of this conversation. Can I talk about my people at EMC in Woodland Hills at the Village for just a minute? Shout out to the entire staff, Tony. I want to always talk about exceptional service. And yet then there's that one guy. I love him, but he really needs time out. Bobby, shout out to
Bobby. You don't like Bobby
I
anymore?
love Bobby, but Bobby needs some punishment. And Dave, we're going to punish him here. Bobby, stop hiding from me when I come to your restaurant. Bobby, stop running from me. By the way, Bobby, corporate has seen you on the cameras running away from me every time I come, which is almost daily. And so as much as that's my home away from home when it comes to dining, Bobby, you need an attitude adjustment. And I think today is the show day that I needed to give it to you. And shout out for Dylan. Shout out to everybody else. Shout out to KK, Tim,
I see how you
Amanda.
do it. Now, one of the things that we always
Scott.
I always trip on the fact, Marla used to say, hey, if you go to Krispy Kreme, just get a free donut. I'm like, well, Marla would leave it like dozens of donuts for free. So I see how you do it. Oh, hey, shout out to Bobby. No, Bobby, I love you.
David, you have to admit Bobby behaves badly.
Well, Bobby's funny.
We do love him.
He's funny.
Yeah. But he needs to eat some more, don't you think? Like, how's he ever going to have an explicit mind when he's the size of a toothpick?
Oh, my goodness. We have a great show planned for you. Marla will still be Marla for the next hour and a half. So sit back, relax. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network. Current events, pop culture, the hot topics of the day. It's time for MaD News on the Marla and Dave radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
What's up? This is the MaD News segment. You know, our MaD News, Tony, has changed much like me, who changes often through the time we've been here at our home. We got to always say, by the way, I have to give smooches and love to my resident sweetie because this is sad. Can I confess at the news? I miss Tony when I leave. I really do. It's the one reason I wish I was here every week. So when I'm not here, it's like every time I have to do a rerun, I'm like, damn it, man. Me and you will never part. Maki da.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be in color purple with me. Bring her out. Let her come out. Right.
So for the first, I'm sorry to break up this whole little love fest here, but so for the first news story, is Usher's back in the news, and I love Usher.
Oh my God,
I love his music.
Actually.
He's such a nice guy. I saw him the other week, and now he's in a lawsuit where, they have to. They put it out like this. It seems almost like a reality show. Lawsuit will claim Usher has infected 2 women and a guy.
Now let's talk about that. Is the guy
with herpes?
Is the guy from direct contact, or did the guy have some type of oral or sexual copulation with the woman?
That's what the lawsuit is asserting.
Was the guy dressed like a woman, though? Or are we saying that Usher is flipping the switches?
That's the implication. And in order to bring, it seems to me, here's the
Dave,
thing.
you said you just saw him recently. How did you see him?
Here's the thing. I was at an event. He was there too.
Okay.
With his wife. So
I'm just trying. I'm not trying to implicate you, Dave. I'm just asking.
So the thing that's crazy to me is that you can assert these things. It doesn't even have to come close to being true at this stage of the game, because the lawsuit is being filed. They haven't actually gone to court. But in the meantime, now we're all questioning Usher's sexuality. That's kind of funny.
But can I ask you a question? Here's a question I have, and you can just answer this right quick. And I know we can't spend a lot of time here, but you too are a public celebrity figure. And there has never been a negative story posted about you in your whole 31 years of being a 10-time Grammy-winning artist. Why is that so?
There was one lady who claimed that she was pregnant with my child.
Really?
And it was hilarious. And I was like, yeah, no, you couldn't possibly.
Where is she?
My wife can't even get pregnant with my child.
It was me.
Sorry, it was Tony's IBD. Thanks, Tony, for setting the story straight.
But you know what I'm saying? It's impossible. People say and do crazy things. It happens.
I didn't hear that story, Dave.
It happened. You know.
Anyway. All right, what's next?
You tell me what's next.
Tony, I'm divorcing Dave.
So there was a whale.
That's what's next.
There was a whale in Australia. There was a fishing charter that was had gone out and was coming back in. Suddenly a humpback breaches out of the water, slams into the boat, hurts the crew, and
injures the passengers.
And what they were basically saying is that never happens. And you see people go out whale watching all the time, but you never see a whale almost attacking the vessel, the boat, the ship. And so the crazy thing about it is...
Would you call that an attack, or would you just call that an unfortunate circumstance of nature?
You know the whale knows what he's doing, and he's
Really?
not just trying to actually do tricks close to the boat, say, oops, I lost my balance.
Whales do tricks now.
That's
So
what
you're training whales in the wild?
I'm saying that didn't happen. That's how ridiculous that is. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on. Journey
Tony, is there a way that you can
founding member Neil Sean.
Go ahead.
What are you saying?
I was just going to ask Tony before you read this next news story, is there a way you can turn these headphones into earmuffs? Because I don't want to hear another word about Donald Trump. I just can't handle it. I feel sick.
Neil Sean is sort of blasting his bandmates Journey. He's one of the founding members of Journey for their support of Donald Trump going to the White House to meet with the president. And he's like, man, he's basically asserting that Donald Trump and asserting the politics into the band milieu literally could possibly break up the band.
And by the way, we have a news edit in our chat room by Nortrice Banner, who says no. The story is that the guy caught it from one of the women, allegedly, not directly from Usher. I knew Usher. I knew it. I knew there was one.
I don't know.
Two.
I really don't know as much about it as I should, but it's still
Except we
funny.
still haven't dealt with the fact that you have a baby out there, so we'll talk about that at the end of the show.
I do not.
I'm just
So
saying.
we won't be talking about it. You can talk. I'm sure you will. Marla talks. Anyway, it does seem like, and that's how crazy politics has gotten in this country at this day and age, where you're so polarized that you can break up your lifetime friendship with your bandmates because some people like Trump, some people don't like Donald Trump, some people are conservative, some people are more liberal, and you're so angry about it.
I'm there. I'm so there.
And when we come back and the rest of the show, that's kind of what we're going to touch on as well, because we have these little conversations, and Marla's one of the angry people. Marla's one of the angry people.
That's the MaD News. We'll be right back.
This ain't your mama's radio show. Can you handle the truth? Then get ready for a real radio experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
All right, we're back. I was just giving Tony some information because I want him to pull up something regarding my first topic. Welcome to the Marla and Dave Show for everybody on every social network all over the world, from our chat room, which is right here at our home at UBN. That's it. That one. UBNradio.com is our home where you can find us in the chat room.
Can I do a little housekeeping right quick?
Sure.
Tony, could you please turn my headphones down for real? Marla's killing me. Thank you. I'm sorry, Marla. It's nothing personal, but it's actually all about you.
When I'm yelling out off of the radio, though, you like it, don't you? You want it louder.
Depends on what you're yelling. Anyway, so
okay, that's how we take it from explicit. We take it right back to thank you, Vivica. Anyway, no, what I was saying is that welcome to everybody in all the chat rooms. You're here from UBN Radio. We got you on Periscope, UBN Radio TV. We got you here on Facebook, whether you're joining us from the Marla and Dave page, whether you're joining us from Marla Talks. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for understanding that being in a relationship with me is a valuable thing and putting us back together, because I'm telling you, bro,
please.
I was about to be done with you.
You
But we're
might
back
catch the
together.
podcast on iHeartRadio.
And iHeartRadio. Holy camoly, aren't we growing? Thanks to Tony Sweet and UBN Radio Network for submitting us. We appreciate all of that. Thanks for joining us. Man, I don't know about you, but my Facebook chat room is crazy full. Shout out to everybody. Elizabeth Ann Jean Andrews, Charlie, Elizabeth Betty Thorpe, Jake Nixon, Nortrice Banner, Lorene Joseph, Sandra Hawkins. Sheesh. I can't talk. Jackie, Kyla.
Okay, Marla, you can't shout everybody
Halloran
out.
Hill.
I know you would love to
Did you hear what I just
shout,
said?
Hey, Hal, what's up? The Triple H.
Okay, I have to stop for a minute. I have to shout Hal out in a special
Of course
way.
you do.
Halloran Hill, for those of you who don't know the history of the Marla and Dave show, really sincerely, from the beginning when it was just radio, without Halloran Hill, there would be no Marla and Dave. Hal not only set our course, made our first sizzle reel, and he has a #1 drive time show in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's a friend, also an incredible musician and writer. And if it had not been for the collaboration and the inspiration that he and Dave got together and came up with the concept of the Marla and Dave show, he laid out the plan, and we've been up and running ever since. And so without us, there would not be a Marla and Dave show. Without Hal, there wouldn't be a Marla and Dave social. Thank you, Triple H.
The Triple H, Halloran Hilton Hill. Again, thank you. So the question for this first segment is really when you're in a
Janice,
committed. Okay, Marla, you can't keep shouting out while
Angela.
I'm talking. You just can't do it.
Dave forgot that
you
I was
just can't do
unruly. I'm sorry.
You go ahead. Introduce the segment.
323-524-2599. I got a question. I have a question for this segment. We just talked about me going to Jamaica. I went without Dave. It was a turn up to the max that included all kind of crazy party antics and fun, as well as because it was Vivica Fox's birthday celebration, and because Vivica Fox is the creator of First Black Magic and then Explicit Minds, which is now a live touring show. She had she presented an Explicit Minds performance in Jamaica at Margaritaville. So the 5 of the gentlemen that are with Explicit Minds, they are male exotic dancers, were with us in our crew, part of our private party for this turn up. And I was there with my girlfriend Kia Todd, shout out to Kia, and I have gotten questions from people and conversations erupted about whether that's even cool. But we had a blast, and so much so that it was first of all, Island Men, I don't know if you're trapped and you just need something new to entertain you, but we couldn't even get 25 steps from our hotel without being the 3 of us, Melanie as well, Melanie Frank, and Key and I were the first ones to arrive on the island a day before everybody else. This is what we were taught from one of the island guys. Each one of us had an opportunity as we were harassed. This is what they told us to do to keep from being harassed walking home from the restaurant.
You're having unwanted male
attention. Okay. Let's hit it.
So you're going to do, all right. What's up, baby? You all right?
Me good, man.
So you're gonna,
Wait.
All right.
We got another one. Slide it, Tony. Can you
What's
slide
up,
it?
baby? You all right?
Oh no, it's 3 in the same, so you have to almost slide through. See how that same one has how it has the. There you go. I don't know if you can. I guess you can't scroll through. Okay.
So anyway,
there's three. So each one of us got.
Everybody
an
had a
opportunity,
chance
right.
to actually try to say "me good, mom."
Me good.
And
mom.
Marla, at the end of the whole everybody's performance and everybody's trial, the guys were like, "Oh, Marla, you're perfect," and I really thought that Kia actually should have won that contest.
David, you have a whole unwanted baby. Are you still talking?
Yeah, I am. As a matter of fact, I got built-in backup.
Oh God! So the question the question that I wanted to ask, because I want you guys to call in again. We are an interactive show. Yes, we're live. We're here with you. You're here with us. And the question that I was asking to start the show today was very simple.
When you're in a committed relationship, should girls' night out or a guy's night out be off limits? Or another way to put that is how far is too far?
Yeah.
When you have girls' night out or guys' night out, call in 323-524-2599 if you think that Marla going to strip clubs and parties with her girlfriends in the Caribbean is going too far.
Dave, would it be the same thing if you went to Vegas with some of your fellas? And for the record, let's just not. First of all, you have boys' night out half the year on tour with Take Six. Yes,
that's ridiculous.
Yes, Dave.
That's like saying when you go to work, that's girls' night out. It makes
Come
no
on,
sense.
Dave. It's you and the guys. You only perform 90 minutes in a night at most, and then you go out.
There you are, belittling.
I'm not belittling
or
listen,
putting down the effort that it takes to do what I do.
I'm not belittling your efforts. I'm just saying you have a lot of free time and you're there with your boys.
Anyway, 323-524-2599. If you want to denigrate Marla, put her down in any way, or just talk about her. We will appreciate that.
Oh my God!
How far is too far? So Marla, why don't you give us a little bit more detail about some of the...
The detail is just that we have a caller right off the bat. Let me talk to my caller and get some advice or some comments. Caller, you're on the Marla and Dave show with Marla and Dave. What are your thoughts? Welcome to the show. Hello,
caller,
you're
there?
live.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, this is the caller.
Hi, caller.
Oh, I recognize that voice anywhere. This is the venerated Triple H, the Triple Halloran Hilton Hill from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hal, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Marla?
I feel like I can't even talk to Hal on the phone. It's not even right. It's sacrilegious in some kind of weird way.
Hal, what would you do if your lovely wife went to Jamaica and was getting turned up with some strippers?
They're male exotic dancers, number one. Don't minimize them.
Did they have a pole?
His penis was pole size. I'm pretty sure it was.
See, there you go. Hal, give me some help.
Well, see, here's the beautiful thing about relationships. Relationships are as unique as fingerprints. So if you and your beloved have an understanding, if you have sketched out a turn-up agreement, then I think everything is basically fair game. If you and your spouse or your significant other have agreed, I think where it becomes a problem is if your significant other goes to the island of desire and ends up near poles or pole-sized things and you don't have an agreement.
No, I see what you're saying. So in other words, every relationship is different is what you're really saying. And, I no two relationships are alike.
Upon communication.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's all contingent upon communications. I think people get into trouble when they have not had a realistic conversation about expectations.
So when you step outside of the lines or the boundaries of your particular relationship is when you have trouble. So and how I appreciate that, and I think your smooth, soothing voice sort of makes it, easier to swallow. But no pun intended. But I've always seen relationships where people say, we're in an open relationship, and they're always in the news having issues, marital issues, just like anybody else. Now, whether it's open or not open, that usually, as far as I'm concerned, leads to some trouble. Would you agree?
Well, just knowing you and Marla, I don't know that people ever define open. So if every contract begins with the definition of terms, right? And I don't know that people define open, nor do I know whether or not people communicate. You guys have a unique luxury in your relationship. The openness of your relationship has started with the openness of communication, and you and Marla talk to each other about this stuff. Most people don't even embrace it at all. They don't have the conversation. It's one of the things that I admire most about you guys is that you guys have the conversation.
Well, we appreciate that, Hal.
And
thank
Hal,
you so
and
much.
I want you to know I did not have sex with that man. That's all I have to say for myself. I did not.
You're supposed to say marital relations, sexual relations.
Davis.
I did not have relations.
Listen. It's 2017. 45 is president. Anything goes.
Hal
I
told
can
you
say
we
what I
have to
want.
define the terms. We have no idea what that means these days.
Well, I just appreciate that, and you know
But
what? Go ahead, Hal.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I appreciate you calling in and sharing that because it is a very individual thing. But I just wanted to throw in there, which we'll get into as we go forward, that I just want to share with everybody that the communication is the number one thing, but also your integrity should not be contingent on somebody else. You should be you and walk and live with your own decided integrity wherever you go. So if Dave had been there, I would have done the same thing. Now, truthfully and honestly speaking, I wouldn't have thrown Susan B. Anthony dollars at the guys. I might have, stuck one on their back because you were there so you could see. So, I don't want to get
You would have gone further if I was actually there.
No, maybe.
Hal, right quick before we leave, man, what's the latest with you?
Man, just grinding, man. I've been spending a lot of time working with Chris Blue, who's the season 12 winner of The Voice, and it's getting pretty exciting.
That's what's
nice.
up, man.
Exciting.
Congratulations to you, bro. Awesome. Well, thanks for calling, Hal.
All right, man. I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you, bro.
We'll talk soon. All right, we got another caller on. Caller, you're on live with Marla and Dave on the Marla and Dave show. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Marla and D. What's up?
What
What's
up?
up?
Huntsville, Alabama.
What up,
Huntsville,
Huntsville?
Alabama in the house, baby.
What's up?
Shout out to Triple H. He's an amazing dude, isn't he?
Oh,
to
man.
the max.
Oh, man. See,
just as a person.
everybody from the Ville knows the Triple H, see?
Man, this dude is. I could tell you a bunch of stories about the Triple, but let me just to speak to your topic, man, for this segment.
Yeah.
Man, my wife went to an epic turn-up with one of her girls.
Yeah.
She was getting married. She was getting married, so her little bachelorette party.
It was turned up.
I just have we have learned over the years, just through trials and all that we have been through. What goes on in Vegas need to stay in Vegas.
Until social media,
until it leaks out.
Yeah, until it gets posted on your site
so,
in your DMs.
Whatever it is, right? So she goes. Listen, when I don't. It's almost like I'm not even married. When I say that, I mean I don't ask no questions.
Right.
I'm not texting. How you doing? What you doing? What's going on?
Go do your thing. I'm gonna be me over here. You do your thing over there.
Right. I've learned just to let her be with the girls. Right.
Okay.
So I'm sitting. I think I might have went to a movie with my sons or something like that. Or I went to a movie. I was just chilling by myself, minding my own business.
Yeah.
So I get a picture.
Yeah.
I get a picture.
Ooh.
A picture is text to me, right? And the picture is someone is pouring. There's a bottle over her mouth, my wife's mouth. And there's a bottle of whatever beverage.
Yes.
Alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
Being poured into her mouth. Now, Marla and Dave.
Yeah.
She's a grown woman.
Let me stop this right now. Are you still married?
Drink,
Are you still married?
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Don't derive
So
anything.
she's a grown
That
woman.
picture was edited.
She allowed to have a drink. She allowed to turn up with her girls or whatever. Can I tell you the one problem I had with that photo?
What's
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Go ahead.
The one problem I had with that photo, that it was sent to me and a man was holding a bottle.
Yeah. So now let me ask you this.
Hold on, let him finish.
I'm willing. I know the turn up is going on, but
Right.
I don't want to see it.
Right.
Don't text it to me.
Who did
So then-
that?
so then
Who
your
sent
mi-
you the
so then-
picture?
so then
Was it-
your
did
mind
wife
runs
send the picture?
wild.
Hold on. Did
So
the wi-
she told her girlfriend to take the picture and send it to me because
Oh.
it'd be
She
funny,
wants you to
like,
know-
hey, she don't even drink like that.
So you're her
Right.
best friend.
You know,
You're her best friend.
right?
That's sweet.
So I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with her drinking, and I knew it was going to be male strippers there. I knew that. I
Right.
just didn't want to see no male hand.
You don't want the
with a
visual.
big bottle of whatever.
Yeah, that's a visual.
pouring into my wife's mouth.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
yeah.
that's a
So,
lot. Okay.
which leads me. Well, first of all, thank you for calling because you bring up a super excellent point. I think the issue that he's really bringing to the forefront is that when you're in a relationship, you don't really mind. Your wife doing her thing because you trust your wife to be circumspect in her behavior.
Exactly.
The issue really comes up when you have to actually first start to deal with the visual. First of all,
Why?
number two, you have to
Why,
start
why?
explaining your another grown person's behavior to all your friends.
What? Okay, well that's your problem.
No, it's true.
No, that's your problem. That's your
It's
problem. And
true.
if that's I don't know your name, but if that's your problem, then that's your problem.
Wait,
So let me-
No,
so
no,
no-
no, no.
am I speaking the
It's
truth?
Shannon. It's Shannon.
Oh, hey,
Mama.
Hey,
Shannon.
Shannon, what's
Shannon.
up?
Shannon, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't matter
Yeah,
because
it's
is that
it
your
was-
issue?
it
Is
was
your
just-
issue Dave's issue? That you're worried about friends seeing it?
No. My
Okay.
issue was just don't show it to me. I know what's going on. I already fixed it in my mind that you grown. I'm not in charge of your body or your action. I'm not in charge of any of that. And so my expectation is that hopefully you'll honor our marriage. If you don't, that's your choice, and that's between you and whoever you pray
And
to
you
or whatever.
and God, the three of you.
Well, yeah, but it's like
For the record, God's mad. Anyway,
hey, I knew it was epic, but I didn't want to have to
Right.
see it. You know what? Evidence of it. So it was just interesting. I love the comment. I'm gonna hang up and let other
No, that's
thank
all
you.
good.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Shannon.
Shannon,
Thanks
for
for
calling in.
calling.
We appreciate it.
we're
So-
gonna keep the conversation going when we actually come back from this next break. But first of all, what I said wasn't my issue. I was actually assuming that's where he was going. But we're gonna get into this. Is a great conversation.
Really?
Yeah,
I wonder how we got to that.
yeah. Your epic turn up.
Really?
Yeah.
Dave, I have 6% left of my battery, and I brought my cord, but I don't have my cube. It's in the car.
She needs
I fell asleep.
She needs me to help her again. Anyway,
I can't be
we'll-
helped.
We'll
I
be
have a
right
different
back.
computer.
We'll be right back.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something. 26 years of marriage from two unique perspectives equals 52 years of relationship experience.
Excuse me, that's 58 years? Oops, I made a boo-boo.
It's time for Ask Marla and Dave. Answers to your questions about life, love, and relationship based on Marla and Dave's real-life experience. It's about to get real. Ask Marla and Dave.
I'll just ride it till the wheels come out.
All right quick. This is the Ask Marla and Dave feature break of the show.
And if
It's
you're-
where you write in to www.marlandave.com. Ask us a question. You actually fill it out right there on the form online. It actually goes right through all of the red tape. You don't have to wait for us to get to your phone call on air. We actually deal with your issue right online during the Ask Marla and Dave break. The question this week, Marla, is...
Hey guys, I have a quick question. The time has come for our oldest son to go to college. When he started high school, my husband and I made a verbal agreement with him to pay his tuition. Between then and now, our financial forecast has drastically changed for the worst. We informed our son that he will have to attend community college for the first 2 years and then transfer to a local university. The decision to not overextend ourselves financially when there's an option is not sitting well with my son. Do you and Marla think that this is a selfish decision?
Signed, obligated. Well, that's a really, really good question, especially for Marla and I, because we actually kind of did the exact opposite. We literally said we got rid
of our house.
We're going to just do whatever it takes to actually make sure our youngest daughter goes to Syracuse University.
Which was her...
And we weren't prepared,
Which
by
was
the way.
her reach school, and she did walk past. She said no to 3 full ride scholarships, so she didn't have other options.
3 full ride scholarships.
Right. One of them actually was going to be putting money back into our account at the end of the day.
They were paying us.
They would be paying us to get her. But bottom line is, I think that, let me answer this quickly. I think you need to know your child and know what investment you're making. I think that kids have a responsibility just as parents do. And if you know your child is not ready, the obligation just for parent-kid obligation's sake is silly with that kind of debt. I think that, for us, it did pay off. Lexi is she's making a lot of money, and she's turned the profit for her own life, which was the goal, not to pay us back, but she's a news producer. So she took her education very seriously, but we kind of knew she had a niche of what it is that she was gifted at, and
in order to actually do well in what she wanted to do,
school was a specialty school.
She had to actually go there because the competition is really high, and you need a lot of things behind you, a lot of support behind you, especially coming from your alma mater. But I will say this: it's just like going to the bank and getting a loan. You have to sit down, and is the investment worth it?
Do your kids' FICO, their education FICO, and if their score comes back low, then community college it is.
If it comes back high, then you might be worth the investment.
Don't invest anything if your kid's FICO is not over 720. That's the Ask Marla and Dave.
That's Ask Marla and Dave. We're going to get back to the show.
Welcome back to the Marla and Dave radio show. Marla and Dave want to talk to you. Phone lines are open at 323-284-7826. 323-284-7826.
All right, again, now every time I hear that, I remember what I was supposed to do, and that was change that phone number to 323-524-2599. You have been calling, and we have a caller on. Oh, caller hung up.
We had a caller online. Caller, we have segments to our show if you're new, but we welcome everybody. We love for you to call in. We love to talk to you guys, and we're glad for those who have called in so far, 323-524-2599. I'm a bonehead, and so I brought my cord knowing that my battery might run low, and now I'm low on...
all the people you were shouting out, now you can't shout them out.
I'm going to do it on my phone.
And you're still a bonehead because you have to turn your phone
but guess what else?
by turning your volume off.
Guess what else is crazy? Yeah. My actual cell phone is also at 13%. I think I'm running out of life force.
I actually can't help you.
In the world.
Anyway, the last caller actually brought up a really good point, and that is that he wasn't really concerned with the wife going out to the girls' weekend out, to the bachelorette party, and it being epic. The turn-up was for real. But she sent him a photo. And with the photo comes all type of imagination stimulation. And, you're trying to be cool. I don't think you sent me a photo, but all of your friends and my friends were actually telling me about the photos that you put online.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to actually get to this next phone call, and we're going to actually deal with that.
Yeah, and then you can ask me. Caller, you're on the Marla and Dave show, live with Marla and Dave. What's up?
Hey, caller, what's up?
Hello?
Hello, you there?
That our caller's walking all the way to their phone from a long distance. Hi. You're on live. Did they hang us up?
I think they couldn't quite hear us.
afraid.
Anyway, so let's get back to the conversation.
Do it,
what I'm
Dave.
really
Just
saying
go ahead,
is, and I see that you're preoccupied.
I'm getting myself back online because I told you I have 1%. I don't want to just die out everywhere. I want to stay alive, Dave.
So now
I swam in living waters.
Between you and I'm not really one to actually be the jealous type, and we discussed this earlier, but
should you be?
I don't think that you're that type of person that I should be jealous of you doing
I'm pretty
crazy
outgoing,
things.
Dave.
So, but
I'm pretty
I
outgoing.
put it to you like this.
My breasts are perky.
I don't really.
And my booty's plump.
Wait. Okay. No. Okay.
I'm just trying to sweeten the ante.
I can't even get. First of all, let's
get a load of these, Dave.
Let's
they
just
were
stop.
loose.
Let's just stop for a minute. So let's talk about those. Are those your personality breasts?
Yes,
you said earlier at home? Because Marla said I have said my attractiveness is not in my physical. It's in my personality.
That is true.
And I said, oh, you have personality breast. Nice juicy personality breast.
Now, Dave, let's keep it all the way real. Now here's what I want to talk about.
I put makeup on my personality.
Okay, you're stupid.
When I'm going out.
This is why God didn't give you breast or vagina, because you don't understand.
I digress.
Right.
I digress. I'm actually leaving the topic. So the sometimes though, one of the questions that I have. We'll wait. Marla, really?
It's my phone, bro. I'm trying to.
So the question that I have is there a responsibility of one or the other partners in the relationship to sort of guard the image of the relationship with what you're posting online?
That's up to you.
I asked you a question.
Okay,
That is a question.
Let's
We're gonna
talk
ask
to
the
our caller. Caller, you're on live with Marla and Dave. What's up?
Hi, Marla and Dave.
Hey.
I know who this is too.
Nice to be able to talk to you all.
Oh my goodness.
first time
This is
ever.
my glorious, lovely sister.
She is, but she's actually, honestly,
Ooh, I'm glorious.
she's more my sister than
she's
she is yours.
She's the only estrogen of our father's children.
Well, let me just ask this question though.
This is true.
When is the last time though that you had a long, in-depth conversation with your glorious sister? She's my sister. I've taken her over.
About a week ago. Anyway, Patty, hey, what's up?
What's up, guys? So, representing the professional lovers, I had
Okay.
to call in and say something about the
Indeed.
topic.
Indeed.
And so, on behalf of the professional lovers, our parent,
Yes, yes.
and the book that we finished, that should be coming out soon.
What's the name of the book?
The book is Becoming a Professional Lover.
Oh, okay.
Learn to Love God's Way.
Nice.
Great book. Keep a lookout for it. But in doing that book, we did address the idea of togetherness and whether or not it's important for couples to do everything together as a married couple, or whether there is some room for either spouse hanging out with their friends or their particular groups. And it's interesting listening to the other comments that have been made. But if you start just from the foundation of the Bible, Adam and Eve were instructed to stay together. And they were instructed to stay together for two reasons. And one was to strengthen the bond between them, and second, to be a united force against evil or wrongdoing or Satan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As a united front, they could be stronger in not being tempted than individually, okay? So that's just the biblical
That's
foundation.
biblical foundation. I
So
got
now-
it. Those are the biblical basics.
Right. So what I take
That's
away from that
biblical
right
basis.
away, what I take away from that foundational statement right away is that Eve was too weak to resist the snake
What?
when she was by herself. Keep going. Keep going.
What I took away from was Adam wasn't
Keep going.
Adam wasn't putting it down enough, so anything else slithering was interesting.
So, of course, Dave had to go there. But anyway, so that's just the foundation. Okay, so on top of that, then, I agree with the Triple H about communication being important, the wife and husband being comfortable with whatever you all decide to do. But I do think that there is a little bit of an issue for people who get married and want to continue activities and doing things as though they're single.
Right.
And I think that there should be a difference between what you choose to do as part of a married couple versus how you used to do whatever you did as a single person, okay? So you don't have to do, I'm not saying you have to do everything together, but if you go to the foundation, if I prefer to do most of my activities, my socializing, whatever, as a single person with my crew, there might be something wrong with that.
Okay.
Most
If the
definitely.
preference is that you're going it alone,
Right.
then you might need to look at that. The preference should be with your spouse.
Right.
Okay,
And
I
so
get with
it
that,
shouldn't
and
be out of
Patty,
balance.
and Patty,
You see what I'm
thank,
saying?
yeah, we get with that, and thank you, for calling. That's we're honored that you would call the show. Thank you so much. And again,
No problem.
what was the name of the book for Mom and Dad?
Becoming a Professional Lover, a weekly devotional for learning to love God's way.
All right,
Sweet.
perfect. We'll look
Thanks,
out for
Patty.
that. Thank you for calling. So now I can get where Patty's coming from when it comes to a more Christian perspective.
But it's not even Christian or not Christian. She basically hit it on the head. What she was really saying is, which is what we were saying. To me, you're fouling out of line if you're sneaking off and doing stuff Many times there were activities that were going on, and people were skeptical about what was being filmed or not for those who weren't necessarily single or in committed relationships. Well,
so you're saying that they're ashamed of what they're being filmed doing?
Yeah. So I love to have fun, and if you were there, I would. Matter of fact, there was a time that you were working with a very popular artist back in the day, and the artist came over to the house so much, he said, "Man, we're about to have a release party. Can't bring your wife, because it's just always a lot of fun." And when we were there, he came over and said, "Man, do you mind if I dance with your wife?" And we danced right there. It was it was no problem. So what I'm saying to you,
we have a different kind of relationship. You got strippers for me.
I did that.
My wife hired strippers for me.
That was an epic story, Tony. So I'll tell the audience about this right quick. So David and I got married at the courthouse. Following a Stevie Wonder. They were working with Stevie Wonder in a Stevie Wonder session, and we had already planned to get married, and it was running long. And Stevie was like, "All right, man, go ahead and go." So we were the last people in the L.A. courthouse. We didn't get married. There was no celebrity hoopla.
What does it have to do with the stripper?
I'm about to tell you. So we had one wedding. In the wedding date, the marriage date, and then a week later we had a wedding.
The actual wedding.
So once that happened, we decided each one would celebrate for the other one. So March 25th and April 4. Dave was always on top of his March 25th recognition. The first year I forgot, because we had done March 25th, and I was like, eh. So he's like, really? So they were working around the clock on So Much to Say. And I was like, you know what? That was whack in my own brain. I said, I'm going to send a stripper to the actual studio in Nashville. Well, at the time, Take 6 had really just hit the scene, and they were massive. So anytime you said their name, especially in Nashville as a gospel group, they were like, wait a minute. When they took the order, Take 6, the gospel group, I'm like, just go to the studio. So Dave was asleep in the booth like this. So I called the guys. I said, look, I'm sending a stripper. It's me. I let them in. The lady came into the control booth, They started the music, started dancing on Dave, and she kept slapping him. I don't know if she was hitting him
in order to really make sure that I was paying attention to her assets that she was trying to bounce in front of my face. She started slapping. Finally,
he grabbed her.
And what she didn't know is, and what most of my friends and family know, that when I'm actually asleep, suddenly I become a little grouchier. So she smacked me the first time a little bit, trying to have, sort of love tap kind of thing. The second thing, by the time she went to slap the third time, I caught her wrist. And I said,
do not slap me.
Don't hit me again.
So that turned into
do your dance or whatever you're going to do. Just don't hit me again.
And then get the hell out. She was very unappreciated, and I realized
and she got no tip.
Yeah, Dave's tip was hit me again and die. Anyway, that was an a cappella lesson.
Anyway,
so yes, I don't care.
So Patty's point you're saying was?
Patty's point was that you have to there's a communication that has to happen, number one. And that there is,
But I think she went on to say something else.
But there's no. The one thing she said that there's no separation. In other words, even going to this, to be honest with you, I went with a friend, but it wasn't like usually if there's something I'm doing, you're always invited. I don't dish you. I give you the option to go. Unless it's inappropriate for you.
You were already the third wheel, so it wasn't.
I was invited.
Dave didn't get a chance.
Yeah, so it was,
anyway,
right.
But I think what she actually went on to say is that when you get married, you should leave your single behavior behind. I think that was the other point.
Which is also interesting.
And moved into married behavior. And again, what is the distinction between single and married behavior? And that could get a little sticky. And that's where it goes back to the foundational issue, which Hal was actually bringing up, is that just communicate. Make sure that you guys are on the same page.
And by the way, that was a prerequisite before we got married. I said the one thing, I'll give you everything. The one thing I'm asking you to never do is
you have to let me keep turning up.
No, I said, stop it. I said, don't ask me to not be me, because I grew up around men. My easiest relationships were with male exotic dancers, Tony. They were.
They were all over my house.
Yeah, everywhere. All of them.
They were all over my house.
My dad was a baseball player by day, and he was a male exotic dancer.
My mother
Is that why you like me?
Yes, Tony.
My mother had male exotic dancers all around the house at all times.
I kept saying, Mommy, why do we have all these ones?
Mommy. Single dollar bills.
The point is that I grew up in sport. I grew up around men. I understood men, but it wasn't, my relationship wasn't sexual.
Okay, we have one more time. We have time for another quick call before we have to get to the next break. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead with Marla and Dave.
Hi, Marla. Hi, Mr. Dave. This
Hey.
is Miss Risky Lady.
Hey, Risky Lady.
Risky Lady.
What up, Risky Lady?
How you doing, girl?
No, how
What's up?
No, how you doing, boo?
I'm fine. I'm just laying here, just reminiscing on my past. I just lost my brother.
Oh,
And
sorry to hear
I'm
that.
Going through. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to get everything together with my family and stuff, so it's hard being the one who is responsible. So I called in so that I could talk to you guys for a minute.
Okay.
Cheer myself up.
There you go.
I would like to talk about the subject of should a woman have fun out on a town with her friends, or should a man have fun on the town with his friends?
And what do you think about that? What's your comment to that?
I think you should do you, because you only got one life to live, and you're gonna look
YOLO.
back at it when you get older, and you're gonna say, I should have did that. And one doesn't have anything to do with the other. It's like, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
There you go.
But you're still doing right. And as long as you're not spreading eagle with anybody, I don't see what the problem is.
Right.
Okay,
So
that sounds
basically-
like some old school sage wisdom.
Yeah, basically.
As long as you're doing right, the left hand doesn't have to know what the right hand is doing, as long as you're not messing up.
That's right. That's the way I was raised, and that's how I look at life. And I believe that you should have fun to the fullest, because you're not promised tomorrow.
There you go. Well, you know what, Miss Risky
That's
Lady,
it.
we're sorry to hear about your loss, and we
Indeed.
but we definitely embrace that sentiment, and I think that we have to. We're gonna let that be drop the mic, because that was awesome. That's the way I live my life, and that's the way I see it. But we're
And
really
our condolences go out to your family.
and we're really glad you called.
you.
And make sure this isn't your first and or last time, okay?
Oh, it won't be. I'll keep in touch with you, because I was hoping I'd get to meet you at Mary J. Blige's concert coming up.
Well, girl, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be in Vegas. That's the show that I'll be attending. Because other than that, Dave and I are headed to Hawaii. No, I'll be at the Mary J. Layla Hathaway show in Vegas in September.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, the one I wanted to go to is at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
'Cause I'm
yeah.
in Santa Clarita.
Right.
I live close by Magic Mountain, so
All right.
I wanted to say to you, Marla, congratulations on your license as far as being a realtor.
Nice.
'Cause one day I'm going to be coming to see you to get a place.
Girl, I'm gonna be waiting.
I am.
I got
and
you.
I still want to come to a game where Fizz is playing.
All right. Well, you come on out, and Fizz is family, so the odds that would happen would be pretty high.
Well, Risky Lady, thank
Thanks
you
for
for calling.
calling
We're about
us.
to have to get to a break. Thank you so much. And there you go. Well,
So, and which is what she basically said, just to follow that up, your integrity is yours to actually.
But while I love Risky Lady and what she had to say, make sure you live your life to the fullest. I really appreciate that
YOLO.
concept. But
You only live once.
But does that actually contradict with the open communication issue that and guideline that we usually like to see set down as a foundational point of all relationships? Anyway, we're going to continue with this great discussion after this next break.
It's time for the Marla and Dave Doghouse. Marla has something that should put Dave in the doghouse. Dave has something that should put Marla in the doghouse. You decide who gets a biscuit and who gets busted and ends up in the doghouse.
All right, so my doghouse for Marla. Marla, you want to go first? I'm gonna let you go first.
Nope.
You get your shot in. You don't want to do it. So we do this show every week when we're in town. And Marla is the one who pretty much puts the document together, Tony.
Is he going to steal my doghouse?
So, Tony, you know how this is. Tony's
no, he's
constantly sending me little reminders. Hey, buddy, Hey, Dave, did you forget about me in the document? I got to set the show up. I'm producing the show, but I have no information. And I say, well, Tony, you know how it is. You know who to blame. I'm sorry. Marla just hasn't given me the document so that I can edit it, put the pieces together, and send it on to you so we can have this great show that everyone loves. It's Marla's fault.
No.
She should go. She should go in the doghouse.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. I thought we were going down the same. We're going to actually have the same doghouse, but we're just on the same path. You were supposed to have a show last week when I was out of town, and it was supposed to be Dave in the Man Cave, which I announced 2 weeks prior, and your ass did nothing, and there was no show at all. Forget about it.
Well, my ass actually doesn't do shows, but since I'm not one of the Explicit Minds guys, my ass doesn't do shows. But I'll put it to you like this.
But Tony would have preferred that your ass do some show. Anyway.
Tony, it's $10 bills for me.
Bottom line is, Dave's going in the doghouse because Dave is always saying, I don't understand why you can't do the show by yourself. When I'm not there, just do the show. Just don't, I didn't interrupt you.
I know you're not saying that.
Just do the show by myself. And he says, when you're gone on the 31st, it's going to be another Dave in the Man Cave. I said, Dave, and I waited. And I said, do you want me to make the document? Marla, just go enjoy, just stop. Just you complain, just go. Just enjoy your friends.
Okay.
And there was no show at all. Ixnay, no show, no way. Dave is not only going to go in the doghouse for the same thing, but Dave in the Man Cave, I'm rolling the rock in front of the cave and trapping you in it. Can we have a slam door?
Yes, no, we cannot. Anyway.
Slam the door, Tony.
So who do you think should go in the doghouse? Marla for actually being tardy for getting the document
together. Or Dave
together.
for not doing a show at all.
Or Dave for actually not doing the Man Cave last week because the cave participants were not all available.
And when you coordinate a show, you know that.
Hold on for a minute. And the reason why the Man Cave came to be is because Marla said that Dave couldn't actually do it without her. Boom.
And he didn't.
The Man Cave. What?
And the day you did the Man Cave, I was here.
Not day. And I've done more than one Man Cave.
Yes.
Okay,
I wrote your document.
No, you didn't. You tried to keep inserting yourself
Tony,
into the Man
turn off
Cave.
his mic,
We have
please.
to kick you out. Anyway, that's the doghouse. You get to decide who goes in the doghouse and who gets the biscuit. We'll be right back.
What's the action?
You'll laugh. You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll get mad.
Shut up.
You'll get happy. But you won't be bored. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
You know what's funny? Again, another shout out to Haller and Hilton Hill, Triple H, who actually called in today. Everything you hear of our color pieces, this whole show was actually done.
Designed.
The designed and the voiceovers were produced by Halloran. That's Halloran that you hear every week. So
Absolutely.
Hal's with us even when he's not on the phone with us. So that's cool.
Again, the number to call in, 323-524-2599. We actually had 2 topics that we were actually going to touch on, but I guess this one is such a fire starter that we have to continue and kind of try to wrap this up the best we can.
Because what I want to say about it is this. I have a message in all of this. I really think that people who have a problem with their spouse's individual responsible fun, have they're insecure people and they got problems. You got problems. That's the bottom line. I feel like that there's communication problems and I feel like there's personal problems because you don't control somebody else in life and in love. You do not. It is a choice. And so if I were to choose to be with somebody else, that's just a choice I'm gonna make. You can't stop me. So it's the fact that neither can I stop you. So the fact that
wait. Are you saying I can't stop you, so you should be able to do whatever the hell you
I'm not
want
saying
to while
that.
we're married?
You always have choices.
What are you saying?
But what I'm saying is to think that.
But you can't stop my reaction to your choice.
No, that's true. But what I'm saying to you is get to know the person that you're with and understand the boundaries that work for the two of you in advance, because marriage is a piece of paper. As a matter of fact, the commitment of marriage causes more stress over the long haul than just dating. Dating is fun. Marriage is life, and life is full of ups and downs and stresses and things of the sort. So what I say is, and this is what I said to Dave, I want to bring up a conversation that we can roll into this third segment that happened while we were in Jamaica. And shout out to Pork Chop. shout out to Pork Chop in Sicily.
Mr. Chop, I hate to use the nickname Pork Chop because from what I understand, that is not what your mother named you.
No, his name is
and
Brandon.
That Marla and her friends
Dana called him Pork Chop.
Started referring to you as Pork Chop. I don't like that. So you don't have to take it, Pork.
So bottom line is, we were discussing, and we were on the beach, and and of course, our group grew. But one of the discussions that erupted was just that, whether it was cool or that he should never hire. Neither will he allow his wife to hire an attractive man to do any type of in-home work that is regular, and his wife.
So the sexy pool guy is out of the question.
And his wife, or maybe somebody who's there on a regular basis,
or the housekeeper, with the little short mini dress with the high heels and the feather duster is out of the question.
So what I said is, in this conversation,
who bends down to pick up the laundry?
And
lo and behold,
David, do you have?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Arnold.
I'm pulling a Marla.
Come back, Arnold.
I'm pulling a Marla. I'm sorry.
It's
Go
okay,
ahead.
Arnold. It's okay.
Go ahead.
Schwarzenegger, you want to? That's exactly what happened to him. So you missed that. Anyway, so my statement was, and Tony and Dave, maybe you can get with this, that I was offended at that concept because without a prior relationship with someone that you may be hiring that would be untoward, I think it's cruel to consider what I now term as pretty prejudice. People think you're disqualified because you're not attractive or whatever. I think people disqualify you socially in life, especially in marriage and committed relationship thing. I experience that a lot, where people will have me around when we're a couple.
You're turning this into something else, though.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. Just hear me out. What I'm saying is that too, people holding their own integrity should not be determined by how they appear. If I appear to be sexy, does not mean that I'm going to be a threat to your relationship.
They just don't know that your beauty is really in your personality. Those aren't real breasts. Those are personality breasts.
Okay, I need somebody to help me and call in 323-524-2599. I believe that
those are such juicy personality breasts.
Okay, I believe, and David is being serious, but and when we were in Jamaica, he talked to some of the staff at the hotel. We were on FaceTime, and they were just saying how much they enjoyed just having a conversation and being around me. But my thing was, I believe that my draw is my personality. There's millions of women that are more physically attractive than I am. Go turn on Victoria's Secret.
Okay, so let me try to extrapolate. Let me try to extrapolate
the most beautiful woman walking.
The point that you were making out of what you were saying back to the issue. And so what I hear you saying is that really that couple who has that sort of rule in their relationship, really that's insecurity.
I called them straight on the carpet. That's a problem.
And because of that, I'm not sure. You have to ask me, would you want to be friends with the couple who literally doesn't want their significant other to be alone with the two of us as a couple because we happen to be attractive? That makes no sense.
I get that, Dave, all the time, because you don't get it because when you're here, we're here together.
Yeah, but what I'm really saying is, you don't have. What does that have to do with you? You don't have to be friends.
That's not what I'm. It happens. It happens with our friends sometimes.
But in other words, in any relationship, and this is where I agree with Hal from the beginning. Every relationship has their ground rules and their unique relationship fingerprint. And
but men are men and women are women.
Hold on for a minute. And because of that, no matter how ridiculous that you or I, Marla and Dave, think that someone else's relationship ground rule happens to be, if that's something that they agree with, that's their relationship. So be it. If that doesn't work well in a flow sort of relationship with us, Marla and Dave, then we won't be friends with that couple. But that couple's relationship is intact because they're in agreement. You don't get that?
Well, and by the way, is anybody supervising the chat? Because Nikki said clearly no one is supervising her chat. She's in the chat room. Hey, Nikki.
I'm not sure what chat room she's in. I'm in
the UBN because I'm on Facebook. So anyway, just there's something to consider.
I'm in the UBN chat room. I don't see Nikki.
Nikki, you're tripping. Robert. Hey, Robert. Hey, Brenda.
Nikki,
hey,
you're not there. So I apologize, Nikki, if you think we're ignoring you. But however you actually just sent that message to Marla, keep it up. We'll get right to you that way.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really like Facebook, but it's okay. But anyway, so the bottom line is this. I'm just saying that I want to put that out there because I think that that rules are very cattle-like. I think that if you have the ability to communicate, and I think that I want to encourage more couples to do that, because I think we get stuck in situations right off the bat in marriage based on falsehoods of what we present that we think people will accept. And I think that when that happens, you can't really be yourself, which is what I said in the beginning. I told you, please never ask me to not be myself. And I've always had male friends. I'm actually more male in my activities and fun than I am female. I prefer sports. I prefer to sit down and watch a game. I mean, I'm a lady, but at the same time, I'm sporty. And sporty is part of my makeup. So, and my personality is phenomenal. It's so nice. So nice. And I got to soak in the living waters, Dave, and so you should apprate that, because you're going to be
so
dead.
let's take a detour.
I'm going to be here.
Let's take a detour from the conversation.
Sure.
Tell us about the living waters.
One of the things, by the way, again, and this is not a shout out, this is a comment. I've never seen someone who is on a trip that is meant to be celebrated for their event and their birthday be more attentive to other people than Vivica A. Fox. Seriously. Like, I was like, you really need to just sit down and relax. Like, it's too much. Like, making sure that we had valet service, we had our own butler. Everything was organized. She had all kind of activities done, planned, and paid for the entire group. So we went to a place called the Blue Lagoon in Jamaica, which is one of the 8 wonders of the world. And there's a bioluminescent phosphorus in the water, and you can only see it at night. And so a boat took us out to the Blue Lagoon. There you go. Tony's got it up on the screen. That's exactly what it looks like. And this anything that disturbs the water disturbs the phosphorus in the water, and it lights up and illuminates. So because we were a group of black people, I'm just gonna keep it all the way real.
Now, when you say disturbs the phosphorus, are those living creatures, or is that?
It's got to be an organism of some kind. Only because you can even see fish popping around in there. And when anything moves, anything that disturbs the water, anything, it's a lagoon. But it's pitch black, and you can only catch the pictures through infrared camera. And so that's what I ended up being one of 3 people, I believe, that was willing to get in the water at 10 o'clock at night in a dark lagoon, because all lights had to be off so you could see the luminescence. And the rumor has it that if you dip in the bioluminescent water, which they call living waters, that men will get 3 inches more on their penis, and women will get 1 inch bigger breasts. Oh.
If you notice, your personality grew while you were in Jamaica.
Okay. Hey, Brian. Hey, Kathleen. And so, those things. I did get in the bioluminescent. I got into the Blue Lagoon and swam around. There's pictures of me on my Instagram, Marla Talks. You can always check that out. But it was a unique experience. And at the same time, Vivica and her family had just lost her father, literally. And so there were a lot of it. Yeah, there were a lot of, it was a very emotional moment. Her brother and his wife were there, and her sister and her daughter, and just her family as well as friends. And so it was just, it was a first class situation, and it was full of a lot of love, and we had a great time, great experiences. And I have to say that there's a lady who is Vivica's first cousin. Her name is Dana. And she deserves her own party. She deserves a crown. She deserves a party icon. Matter of fact,
she's the queen of turn-up.
She was 50. I called her 51st dates. She was so drunk, but fun drunk, that every day she's like, I don't remember anything. I don't remember yesterday. So every day she would come to breakfast, and I'd say, hey, Dana, my name is Marla. Nice to meet you. 51st dates. I met her new every day. Every day we just met all over again. It was a blast. We had fun.
So now that we took that detour, are we about to change topics
Sure,
here?
Dave. Go ahead and talk about
All right, so
Kaepernick.
this is something else that happened. I wasn't even going to talk about Kaepernick. I was going to start off by saying we were at dinner for Mimi's birthday, and I told you we were going to get back to this when we were opening the show. And so we were talking about, some kind of way we were talking about a religious topic with Mimi. And I think the guy at the table behind us overheard us and thought that we must be conservative in our political perspective. And so he decides to turn to Marla and introduce himself. And first of all, his wife I guess was their anniversary. His wife went to the bathroom, to the restroom, and he was there by himself, and he decides that he's going to come over and start talking to our table. Hello. He's kind of boisterous. I think that he had a bottle of wine that was near the bottom.
And 2 espressos, so he was turned down and super up at the same time.
So next thing you know, he starts talking about some kind of way he got on the topic of President.
I called him 45.
Marla's calling him 45, and he's trying to kind of weigh in to see, kind of feel us out to see if we're more conservative, we're more liberal. So Marla's saying, yeah, but you have to say that 45 is a little bit strange.
What
He's
I
just
said is,
straight up
I
crazy.
said it's not about this is beyond political views. He's a lunatic. He's an actually mentally unstable human being. That's what I said. I'm going to say it again. It wasn't about I said, in this case.
It's not liberal or conservative. It's not Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, it's not
this
about your
crazy.
political agenda. This dude is not a well human being, period. And he's leading our country, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, and so at first, Mimi was kicking me under the table. I'm sure Marla wasn't aware of that. So my shin is bleeding.
I don't care.
Mimi's like just poof, poof, just kicking me left and right. Because normally Lexi always says to Marla, our youngest daughter,
stop talking about politics
in public. You don't talk
public.
about politics in public. Well,
she's not my mother.
Marla wasn't letting it go. This guy says all politicians are crazy. So I even had to stop him and say, so let's just stop right there. You're a Republican. I get that. I was a Republican as well. So what you're saying is, just in order to continue to support Donald Trump, you're now saying Ronald Reagan, the king of all Republicans in our lifetime, was also crazy, just to say that all politicians are crazy because you don't want to say Donald Trump is crazy. And he just kind of looked and it's like, well, there's issues with all of them. And he just kind of went rambling from there, which I thought was a completely isolated case. Then I go to El Fornay, a restaurant near our home, last night to grab a bite to eat, and I see Jay Cutler being hired by Miami to come out of retirement to play football. Now, this guy is a mediocre quarterback who's always been – he's had the – almost being great, but never really making it all the way. And you got Colin Kaepernick over here, who, because of we all know the trouble that he got into with taking a knee and not really want to support the national anthem. And he was like, yeah, well, there you go. Cutler deserves the job more than Colin Kaepernick. I was like, what? You have got to be kidding me. Are we talking about football? Are we talking about because we just don't like the political perspective and views of Colin Kaepernick? And we're going to get back to this discussion when we come back from this break because it's a very good discussion.
323-524-2599. We'll be right back.
It's time to play the Marla and Dave Love Game. Here are Marla and Dave to explain how it works.
No, Marla said we should skip the MaD Love Game, and I say no. We are not skipping the MaD Love Game. Tony, would you please pass this die to Marla? The MaD Love Game is a game that was created by Marla and me, and it's really? Wow.
What does it say, Dave? What does it say?
It has the 3 categories that we think affect most relationships: communication, finance, and sex. And it's played by rolling a single die.
That I just threw across the room.
Man, I cannot.
Okay, hold on.
I cannot with you. Anyway, it's played by rolling the single die that has those categories. It also has the MaD logo. When it lands on the MaD logo, it's wild. You get to choose whatever you want to, and there's also a crazy lady running around behind you who is just roll the dice, please. So it's played by rolling the die, and
It's Tony's turn.
okay, just roll it again. Tony, please roll it. All right, sex it is. Wow. Jeez.
I just want Dave to know what happens when he tries to actually control me.
Anyway, the question for this card, the sex card, is outside of the bedroom, what is the next most popular place to have sex? Outside of the bedroom.
You just go to the bathroom. And then when that doesn't work, you go to the closet. And when that doesn't work, you go downstairs to the couch. And when that doesn't work, you go into the garage and get in the car. In that order.
Tony, hopefully you can take this seriously. Where do you think the most popular place to have sex outside of the bedroom?
Elevator.
Kitchen.
The kitchen.
Ew.
Okay.
I'm not eating at Tony's house.
Marla, what do you really think?
Definitely the car. Because,
All right.
if you're rolling around and you get in the mood and you're like, ooh, what has happened?
While you're driving?
Park.
While you're driving?
Dave, you've had some car sex. I was there.
While you're driving was the question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it while you're driving?
Have you? Have you had done
Anyway, Marla actually is one of the creators of the game. The answers for all of the questions in the Mad Love game come from the Pew Research Center, and the answer is the car.
Duh.
The most popular place outside of the bedroom is the car.
Before you get a bedroom, when you're
Pretty
growing
much,
up,
I guess
kids
when
do
you're
it in the
when
car.
you're young, you're doing it in the car anyway.
Yeah, because where are you gonna go? You can't afford a hotel. You're not doing it in your parents' house. Well, nowadays they do, but not in my house. That wasn't going down. So you had to hit the car.
All right. So the fun thing about all of the questions in the Mad Love game is each card has a further discussion question, so that when you're playing with your friends, you can have a lot of fun with these conversation starter type questions. The further discussion question for this card is, what is the most bizarre place you've ever had sex, Marla?
Well, we conceived Lexi on the closet floor.
That's bizarre?
Yeah, because those shoes were in my back. That was hurting.
What about you, Tony?
In a dressing room at a mall.
Take 6 concert.
Wow.
What?
Go in the
It
dressing room.
It was with my partner.
Trying to try on clothes, and the next thing you know,
when you're
Tony,
young.
were you silent?
you're trying on something else.
Hell no. Yes.
How do you do that quietly? Like you just a large, please. How does that work out? Anyway, that was very
Good for you, Tony. Well, there you have it. That's the Mad Love game, and the Mad Love game can be purchased by going to www.marlandave.com, clicking on the Mad Merch tab, and you'll find it there. You can buy and have a lot of fun with your friends.
And on
Marla,
our
what
way
about
out,
to say?
and on our way out the door, Nikki says apparently I'm bougie or my car is just too small. Girl, you need to live a little. We'll be
Nikki,
right
that's
back.
the fun. We'll be back.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network.
All right, it's time for the poll question. Marla, what was the poll question last week?
Last week, the poll question was, is it possible for cheating to be an addictive habit? Hashtag habit forming, hashtag yes, habit forming, or no, it's a conscious choice. So can it just be habitual? You just cheat so much that it's just something that should be expected and you just do it like,
Okay, well.
Or do you make up your mind every time and say, you know what, I'm going to step outside of this committed relationship and I'm going to cheat? Or does it just become second nature?
There are 46% of you that said, yes, it can be habit forming. There are, that doesn't make any sense. There are 56%
The rest of you.
6% of you that said, no, it's a hashtag conscious choice. That's almost evenly split.
Right.
So does that imply that the question itself had a...
The next week's question is, should Colin Kaepernick's national anthem protest result in being blackballed from the NFL?
Yeah.
Yes, hashtag fair play. No, hashtag unnecessary roughness.
You can vote on the poll at www.marlandave.com.
Cast your vote today.
Indeed. We'll be right back.
Can you handle the truth? This is modern American dialogue in a mad world from two unique, fresh, transparent perspectives. This is the Marla and Dave radio show.
Man. You know, when we haven't actually been in studio in a little while, the timing is a little off there.
Not for me, because I'm always on, Dave. It's my personality.
So you just like to interrupt.
That's what this is. See how I waited until you were out of air, and then I just jumped in? You need to learn that.
I'm just playing. So, again, right quick. When we were dealing, before we went to the break, I was asking the question. I was leading up to asking the question. Number one, should you discuss politics in public? Number two, should Colin Kaepernick actually
pay the price,
be blackballed, just like the poll question asked, because he has a perspective that caused him to actually sort of boycott, from his perspective, the national anthem.
And we ask our listeners today live on Facebook, and for those of you who weren't on Facebook but you're here with us now and you'll be with us, anybody who reviews the show from this point on, do yourself a favor and look up the national anthem and read the third verse.
And we're going to actually get back to that on an upcoming show, because we're pretty much out of time, because the first topic that we dealt with today was really over the top. And it sparked a lot of good conversation. And should the turn-up continue when you're married? And should girls' night out or guys' night out be an issue in a relationship?
To conclude on that, I really think you fall into the danger zone when you lose your individuality. I don't think anyone should lose their measure of integrity and truth. But I think that when you can't be an individual, it's a dangerous thing. And I know a lot of women who've been in multiple marriage relationships, and I'm shocked by each one of them when they become everything that the person they marry. They change their religious preferences, they change the foods that they like and eat. They shopped before, but now he's all into sport, and that's all they do is focus on the sport that he loves. And I'm like, who the hell are you? And he ultimately loses respect and leaves her.
Well, I think it comes down to 3 points. The 3 points are, number one, like Hal said, starts with communication. Make sure you and your significant other are literally on the same page. I don't necessarily agree with Risky Lady when one say that one hand should know what the other hand is doing, as long as doesn't need to know what the other hand is doing, as long as you're doing the right thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, to be totally honest with you. At one point when the actual Male Exotic Explicit Mind show was going on, one of the dancers is overly endowed. And it was right out there. And I sent Lexi a text message. I did not send it to Moniece because Moniece likes to exploit these things for fun, which is not necessarily something I wanted. But I said to Lexi, okay, you would not believe what it is that I just, in a text, what I just saw. And she said, ew, Mom. And I said, I sent this text to you because I needed to tell somebody, and I'm sure your dad would not appreciate this text message. Caller, you're on the air with Marla and Dave. You're on live with Marla and Dave. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Nikki from New Jersey.
Hey, Nikki, what's up?
Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
You better be quick, Nikki. We're almost out of time.
He wants a quickie.
It's okay.
Say what?
I just called to say hi.
Oh,
hey, Nikki, thank you so much. Long-time supporter of the Marla and Dave show.
MaD family for sure. This is definitely original MaD fam.
Yeah.
Nikki, let me tell you something. The reason that you can't have sex in your car, and it's not because you're bougie. Your car is too small because your family planned it that way, because nobody wants you having sex in your car or at all till you get married. Okay, there you go. There's just some wise sage advice from Marla and Dave.
Nikki, as usual, thank you for being a supporter of the Marla and Dave show.
No problem, guys.
Nikki, before I let you go, though, I have a quick question. Do you think that Do you think that if you hang out with your girls on a regular basis, that should be a behavior that you cease and desist when you're in a committed relationship or married?
Personally, I'm kind of introverted, so I don't want to see a lot of people anytime. I like to be with me. But if I were more extroverted and hung out with people, I wouldn't change that part of me just because I was in a relationship.
There you go. So, of course, as usual, I agree with Nikki. Nikki, thank you for being consistently on my side, and thanks for calling.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks for being on my side, Marla.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Well, I was actually saying that there are three things. I was cut off by Nikki, who so rudely cut me off. Anyway, no, just joking, Nikki, just joking. Anyway, I'm going to lay them out right quick. First of all, communication is key. Make sure that you're on the same page with your spouse. And number 2 is work on your own insecurities. If you're having issues with your spouse's behavior and there's nothing really going on, the issue is actually with you, your insecurity. Deal with that first. Sort of like get the big old plank out of your eye before you get the speck
out of somebody else's,
out of your neighbor's eye. And the last thing really is, if you're dealing with pressure outside of the relationship, let that be outside of the relationship. You and your significant other are the most important thing in the relationship. Deal with it that way.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, we have a little bit more time, and I just want to say, turn up. It's in the beginning of our thing. When I went to Jamaica, I was doing what I was told to do. You know what? One day I'm going to have a conversation, by the way. I want to talk about the dynamics of a group of women getting together. One of the most bizarre things, and this is just random, that happened, someone was completely drunk, and she was pulled out of the pool to dance with Dana, who was one of the females with us, pulled another female out of the pool. The lady she pulled out of the pool was so drunk, she came over to us. We were sitting in a group beside the pool.
And she wasn't part of the group.
Just a random lady. And grabbed me, of all people, and said, I need you to come with me because some lady pulled me out of the pool and my husband's over there and he's mad. I need you to come talk to him. And I looked at her. She had my arm and I said, that's not going to happen. And so she's like, well, I need you to come with me. I said, what I'm not about to do is get involved in your domestic issues. So I'm going to have to tell you that I'm not coming and you need to let me go and you should ask somebody else. What happens if you, and this is my final thing, no matter whether you're married, single, adolescent, or adult, you need to know your limits. And if too much consumption of anything, whether it be vagina, penis, alcohol, marijuana, whatever it is you're doing, if it causes you to not be able to have control of yourself beyond what it is, to turn up to the point that you turn up with the expectation to let go and let something out other than who you are is something that you need to take a closer look at. That's what I want to say. So that's why I really had a lot of fun.
That's your point that you want to say?
I want to make that point. I think you need to know your limits. Knowing your limits is super important.
Can you get pulled over for driving under the influence of
fried
vagina?
Chicken? You can, Dave.
Or under the influence of penis?
You can. Lewd. You can. And what I'm saying to you is, if you're suppressing your sexuality, and you go to it, and you take every trip to Vegas or whatever else to become over-sexualized because at home you're pretending to not be something you are, then you need to take a closer look. And to me, that's what I mean by overconsumption. So there are people who spend blackout days in Vegas at a time being something other than what they really are, but that's supposed to be, the big turn-up event. And I'm saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So the question that I have with the point that you said is the person in Vegas who they really are, or the person at home? Which one's the real person?
I think it's the person that in Vegas is part of who they are that they've actually tried to, it's a denial thing. And I'm saying get in touch with all of that and then you won't have to be so turned up. Anyway, this is it. Dave and I are getting the hell up out of here. We're doing our annual thing. We're going to Hawaii. The next time you see me, I'll be back we'll have a whole new host of shows that will be back to back to back. Powerhouse shows coming up starting the first Monday in September. Join me in Las Vegas. I'm going to see Layla Hathaway and Mary J. Blige as soon as I return. I'm going to do that in Vegas. You can see Another Moment with Marla and Mimi. Dave is going to continue his tour. He starts in Hawaii, goes on from Hawaii to Japan, Japan to North Korea. Please stop the missiles. Just stop it.
Not
Kim
North
Jong-un.
Korea. No.
I mean South Korea.
Yeah, just no. Anyway, see you guys week after next. We'll be right back.